This is Thursday, May 4th, 2023. I'll ask for roll call. Start on our side.
City Engineer Joe Stadheim.
Tom Romaine, Commissioner.
Greg Dearson, Commissioner.
Arlen Body, Commissioner.
Paul Eglund, Commissioner.
Public Works Superintendent Jeff Huffman.
Danita Trebish, Park and Rec Admin Assist.
I'll seek approval of the agenda. It's attached.
I would move to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. That motion passes. And then I'll seek an approval of the minutes. So minutes from last time, January 5th, 2023 was our last meeting.
I move to approve.
I would, okay, I'll second.
Motion and seconded. Do we have, I'll call it then, sorry. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Seeing none, we'll approve the minutes from January. Into our old business number 5, 2023 city reimbursement programs and budget update. Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission members. We've had a total of 19 submitted reimbursements to our office for a total reimbursement amount of $1,279.44. That leaves our 2023 unused balance in the tree commission account around $5,420.56, and those other expenses include again the reimbursements that previously brought up, and then the brochure plantings, I believe, were the other one. So for the general expenses. So any questions on the budget?
Nope, seeing none. We'll work through 5.2, no update from Park and Rec that I'm aware of. 5.3, Public Works, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioners. There was 18 emerald ash borer stumps left over from last fall that we did not get cut through the winter, so we finished those up this spring, so those are all done. So all the emerald ash borer trees that came down with the grant stumps are all removed. When we started on our spring stump list just for our boulevard, so that's all I got.
Do we have a date either for planting for this year's?
I would imagine it would be soon. I know most, if not all, the trees have been spotted and located. I'm not sure if one calls have been called in yet or not, but I would imagine it'd be happening within a couple weeks, I would guess. Yep.
Okay. That will, with that replanting, then that will close out that second DNR grant.
As soon as planting's done, that grant will be closed.
So we've essentially finished everything but that planting process, and that'll be easily by.
Yeah, I don't imagine it'll take them all that long, so.
Okay. Any questions, comments? 5.4, the private tree services update. It says Tony Googsburg, but he's not present. And then 5.5, anything additional on the emerald ash borer update from Joe?
No other updates at this time.
Okay. On the 5.6 Buckthorn update, Jody Veit was seeking approval, but I don't know where that, or seeking continued effort there, but I don't know where that's at this time. Then to old business, 5.7, utility billing informational inserts. April is complete and sent out. We've got the invoice from Riverbend against our budget amount. And then there is the question about an August plan.
Jeff and I need to get together on that. I'm the chair for the New Ulm Turners for the National Fest that's coming up at the end of July, and I am swamped. So I don't know how your schedule is, but we should probably talk about this a little bit, Jeff, if we.
Yeah.
So let me give you a call after this is my prescribed burning season as well, so I think the best time for me would be to start discussing this with you on the beginning of June. Okay.
No, that's fine.
And that still fits the timeline, so
Pardon me?
that'll still be done in time, so.
Well, this is going to be an interesting insert because we've got a tightrope to walk about pruning and who's responsible and everything else, so.
Okay. Appreciate it, gentlemen. 5.8 is the big tree contest. That was included and sent as well. And that's July 24th. I got to double check that date. Is when July 24th is the form deadline for that. River Birch. And at the July meeting, then we'll seek for a crew to go out and check. I don't think we'll have very many entrants, but
Well, you know,
part of the,
we could on the August utility building stuffer is have the big tree contest on one side and street pruning on the other.
The big tree was on the one side.
And we have a format for that Jeff Anderson has put together year after year, and we can use that same format with the species.
we'll know, hopefully we'll know by mid-July if there's any takers and if we need to push it again.
Well, there's a lot of things that could happen between now and the middle of July.
Yeah.
So you'd be willing to run that again? Or we could run that again on the flip side of that
Yeah.
as needed? Okay. Any other questions, comments? 5.9, invasive species management on city-administered lands. This was brought forth by Tom Romaine, Paul Eglin, and we've got a document that they shared. Tom, anything you want to share or propose?
Well, Paul and I drove around town with the map and looked at sites that probably don't need to be inventoried on foot because they're already managed fairly well to keep invasive species out. But there's some extensive pieces of ground that we should wander around on and see what we have. But before we do this, there's a variety of lists of invasive species and illegal species and everything else. And before we craft a program that's not palatable to the city departments, I think we should have a work session and pull everybody together and see how we want to approach this, because it doesn't behoove us to put a program together that nobody wants to follow through on, so. And I know that there are certain people in town that will want every invasive species be controlled, and then on the other hand, then there's the list of things that the state requires that you manage. So somewhere in between that, there could be an acceptable medium, and then what do we do with these large pieces of property that the city administers in the river bottoms? You know, is that something that we need to go on, or do we want to concentrate on where city administered land is up against people's private property or their yards. So that we need to have time to have a discussion, and I don't think that we have time in a commission meeting such as this to do that hammer now. And then we can bring it back to the commission for action.
Do you have a suggested time?
Pardon me?
Do you have a suggested time frame? Try to get that in during
Uh,
June?
Not before June.
Okay.
But we should have the work session between now and our next meeting in July. Does that work for you, Paul?
Yeah,
Joe?
I can find a
Okay.
date in there, compare with our
Jeff?
calendars.
Okay. So,
Do we need to formalize that as a,
well, the question I have that would be helpful to us right now is, who is our liaison between us and the city council? Who's functioning after the retirement of Tom? Is it Danita or Jeff or Joe or,
It'll probably be a combination of,
pardon me?
it'll probably be a combination of other staff between myself and Jeff, most likely, so.
Tom said to us, or to me earlier, that they were going to advertise his position this month and do the interviews in June and hopefully have somebody on board in July.
That's the hopeful timeframe, yep.
So, is it something we need to send a question to the city manager to who is our,
I think for now, it's Jeff and I can both be the liaison for now.
Okay.
We're talking a short period of time, so.
lucky you? So, do we need a motion to do that? Okay, well, I would make a motion that we should schedule a work session at some point in June to put some flesh on the framework that we have for an invasive species policy for city departments on city administered lands.
I would second that motion.
Okay.
any further discussion? I'll call it. All in favor of a work session, planning it for June, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same?
I'm not opposed to it, I'm sorry. I'm voting in the affirmative, so.
Any opposed, say aye. Okay, motion passes. We'll try to coordinate a work session between as many as possible. And the goal of trying to meet in that middle ground somewhere and maybe prioritize some locations to check off or to get through, work our way through that list. I'll move on to the new business then. 6.1 is commission composition, possible future changes. It reads, the city council may consider in the future, through attrition, modifying the composition of some or all boards and commissions. One idea may be to require one commissioner reside in each of the 4 wards, and the 5th commissioner be appointed as at large. Any thoughts, commissioners?
I'm not real excited by that idea, and the reason for that is that there is no focal point of urban forestry in this city except for the Tree Advisory Commission. And I don't know that if we have a selection of one person per ward and somebody at large is going to know anything about the subject that we deal with. And, you know, the composition of this commission here is retired foresters and park managers and science professors. And will we get that knowledge aboard by just randomly picking from the wards and then having an at-large person? And, you know, there's I had sat in on that discussion when the city council was talking about it, and it sounds like a great thing, but we have functioned as a sort of the forestry board for the city, and then would the group such as what's being proposed here be able to do something like put together the invasive species policy for the city, or rewrite ordinances with the same knowledge base that we do? So that's my concern about it. But, it would take a better vetting process than what's happened in the past, like, you all want to be on the tree commission? So if the city wanted to commit that would be a wonderful thing, and I'd be hopeful that somebody from the third ward would be looking for a job on this commission. So,
Point well taken. Any other comments? We stand with 4 commissioners right now, instead of 5 as our allotment, and then 3
well,
is.
the other thing was, what is the proper number of people who should be on commissions, because some of the commissions have 3 people on them, and some people, like the Park and Rec, has got 9 right now. So where is that going to be? We're at 5, if we're lucky, because we seem to have a hard time staying at 5. And there was some, did we have too many commissions in the city? And then really this commission exists because to be a Tree City USA, the city has to have a group like this to make them eligible for the Tree City USA designation.
Our quorum number is 3, correct? So we have to probably stay in that 4 to 5 commissioner range.
Yep.
But I think Tom's point is correct. We're challenged with finding expertise and willingness more than we are location of residence. So, and we're actively seeking that 5th commissioner. So if you know anybody who's willing, what's it take, Tom, to become a commissioner? You just have to volunteer.
Talk to administration office or the mayor. She'll get you signed up.
I tried to recruit Tom Schmitz because he's retired now, so
We'll give him another.
he wasn't very
another month.
excited about that. But
Any other thoughts to the composition? I'm content with our status and with our number of 3 for the quorum.
Mr. Chair and commission members, we can share, next time that's discussed with the council, we'll make sure to mention that tree commission likes it the way they are. And council at that time can do with it what they please.
Thank you. We'll go next to 6.2, the 2024 budget request, and we need a letter forward. And we've got those numbers in front of us from the budget from 2023.
Yes. So, Mr. Chair, if there's, I can submit this on behalf of the commission since we have the absence in the Park and Rec director. But if the commission wishes to make any changes, you can let me know that. Otherwise, we can submit the same budget, but it's really whatever your wishes are, and I'll make sure admin gets that request letter.
Commissioners, any suggestions or changes on the budget? We use the same for 23 as 22, and we're still within line. We brought over a balance into this year, anticipating some more.
well, I was looking at the 2023 reimbursements already, and we're at about $1,300. And do you think we're gonna use up our money this year, or?
It's hard for me to answer.
I know, I would once again
I hope we
See-
use it up. but-
see if we could have the budget carryover amount
Yeah, because it's
attached, added to that $7,000 budget.
yeah, it's just it's really tough to know exactly how much we'll need, and maybe we'll blow through it.
But,
With
part
other
of that
removals and
Commission's budget, talk, or it that the city council had in their work session was, so what do these commissions' budgets do? And when you start looking at our budget, if they need an explanation at in the city administration, is most of our stuff is just pass-through monies to city departments, and stuff that we spend money on as a tree commission is for our utility stuffers, and when we go to the home show, and that's pretty much it, unless we, like we did with the tree pruning workshop last fall. But the rest just goes to Park and Rec and engineering, and it's not anything that we do spend as a commission. So if that's appropriate to send back to the city administration.
yeah, the bulk of it is the reimbursement program,
Yeah.
and then the little advertisement that the commission does as well. So, but if there's no wishes to change it, we can just have that same request as what we had in '23 and request the same in '24 and move it through the budgeting process.
We need a motion for that budget request, correct?
Yeah, I would think so, Mr. Chair.
I'll make a motion that we accept the budget request as printed here. Same as last year.
I'll second.
Okay, we've a motion and a second to maintain the same budget requested numbers as we did in the previous year as printed. Any questions on? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joe. That'll move it forward for us. Any other new business items to attend to or to discuss today? The dates of the next meetings are listed under 7.1. Our next meeting is July 6th, Thursday in 2023 at this location. If you have any other agenda items, you need them a week ahead so that we can get them processed. And then we'll see number 8, adjournment with no further business. I declare this meeting adjourned.